Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Wednesday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. In the news tonight, the Director of Education in Omusati region, Benny Asep, said that they owe the Oneuptwo Town Council, and this has led to water being cut off at various schools and education offices in the region. According to the town spokesperson, Jolokeni Haidula, the outstanding amount is $711,654 million, and the ministry was informed of possible arrangements for payments to be done. Asep, who was speaking at a demonstration last week at Oka House, said that the government does not have money and his hands are tied. Asep further stressed that they could not pay the security company and water and electricity. Before the independence celebrations, I told the office of the president that I cannot allow people to stay in the school hostels because we do not have money to pay water and electricity, he said. He added that he was promised that the situation will be resolved, but nothing has been done. At the demonstration, Asep told parents to do away with politics when addressing the education of the Namibian child. Asep earlier this year told Namibian Sun that the region has 300 schools and that the budget they receive is not enough to cater for the renovations of all the schools in the region. His directorate received $202 million this financial year compared to the $156 million which they received last year. The Supreme Court of Namibia has declined a request to invoke its decision to annul a High Court order for the Home Affairs Ministry to grant citizenship to the son of same-sex couple Philip Lal and partner Guillermo Delgado. Through his lawyer, Uno Kashipoka Sibolile from Nixon Marcus Public Law Offices, Lal petitioned the Supreme Court last week demanding that it invoke its jurisdiction in terms of Section 81 of the Namibian Constitution and reopen the case. Section 81 states that a decision of the Supreme Court shall be binding on all other courts of Namibia and all persons in Namibia unless it is reversed by the Supreme Court itself or is contradicted by an act of Parliament lawfully enacted. Now, according to Lal, the Supreme Court was misled by the Home Affairs Minister, who told the court that they should register their children. However, when they attempted these steps, the ministry shut the door in their faces, saying these options were not available to them. I submit to the court that the process the minister insisted was available to us was not in fact available or necessary. This court would have determined the appeal on merits. Instead, on account of the minister's mispresentation, my son and I have suffered a grave injustice that cries out for a remedy, said Lal. Employment Equity Commissioner Othniel Podowitz says, while Namibia cannot entirely do away with the no-work, no-pay strike rule, amendments to the Labor Act may in future include mechanisms that will protect the interests of striking workers. This follows a hearing into the strike between employees of the Namibia Broadcasting Commission and the public broadcaster, which had left striking workers in an unfavorable position because of the no-work, no-pay strike condition. Now, lawmakers held a hearing in the matter with the Employment Equity Commission and the Ministry of Labor. According to Podowitz, there were two opposing interests to balance for both employers and employees to consider, adding that the matter was not entirely straightforward. The current issue is we are amending our Labor Act. There are views that that rule is not working well because employees are suffering. Employers can just refuse to pay and just do nothing. On the other side of the coin, the employer is losing productivity and whatever was supposed to be done, he said. Namibia, as a member of the International Labour Organization, also had to follow international best practices set regarding labour matters. We'll be right back with your community talk.
Hey, don't worry about the car, boss. I checked nice.
Thank you, but it's okay, ne? F&B Insurance. Checks nicer.
No.
At F&B Insurance, we provide cover for all your valuables, from your car to your laptop to your phone. F&B Insurance. You value it, we cover it. T's and C's apply.
The Africa Child Development Trust has launched the school booklet campaign for the year, with the first booklet being a combined English and Afrikaans version available in today's Namibian Sun and Republican newspapers. The team spearheading the project shares more insight in the following video.
We're extremely excited to announce the relaunch of our 2023 education project with the African Child Development Trust. We will be distributing with our newspapers with the Namibian Sun and Republican. There will be free inserts in most of our newspapers. Please look out for them. There will be books for pre-primary school children and children in ECDs. So please go get your newspapers for this year's books. We are extremely grateful for our sponsorships for the 2023 education project. For this year so far, we have on board Capricorn Foundation, First Round Foundation from FNB, as well as Powerline Africa in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. We're extremely grateful for all of these sponsors coming on board with this project. They're helping us reach children across the country in ECD centres and pre-primary schools to ensure they receive quality educational materials throughout this year. We look forward to more partners coming on board in the future.
My name is Maggie Mbako and I'm one of the trustees of African Child Development Trust. The trust was created to assist with education in this country. We believe it's very important to build a strong foundation so that we have lesser pieces to put together at the later stage. The challenges that we have now, whether it's being unemployment, whether it is school dropouts, whether it's a high rate of failures, is because of the foundation that was challenged, that was not built strongly enough at the very beginning. That's why we need more friends in education, more private sectors to really hold hands and assist the government, because government alone cannot succeed in addressing the education needs in our country. So I'm therefore inviting everybody, all the private sectors, individuals, to come on board and really partner with ACDT in making sure that we address the education, especially at the ground level.
I think it's important for us, but also for Namibia, is that what we have seen in the past years and previous years is that we have seen the difference what we could do as Namibia Media Holdings to make sure that that education continues. We started this project when in a very difficult time, in the COVID time, and we have seen we really could make a difference. And it was so exciting to see that even with the team, everyone got excited. So everyone loved it to work on the booklets, and when we handed out the booklets and we saw the smiles on the faces of the kids, that was just amazing.
The African Child Development Trust helps me to learn.
Im gesamten Namibia helfen sie und machen
ngona rimwe opoli kwashipake kucha okandina omambo goskola ngashi goshindonga
Ovemoyo nene kushitanga
kuvaterange milironge
mayoviro naimwe
ngeshitwa hetu shimbe mupango uno kona hange wahe homu mukunda hakakuhonge mandimi yao.
Songchorus Mirden. Let's take education to the regions. Let's build a brighter future for Namibia.
Namibia University of Science and Technology and the Namibia Wildlife Resort signed a memorandum of understanding yesterday. What does this mean for the two institutions? We'll get into this story in our Story of the Day segment right after this short break. The Namibia University of Science and Technology and Namibia Wildlife Resort signed a memorandum of understanding yesterday at the university's high-tech transfer plaza. This agreement outlines a cooperative program between NAS and NWR, which includes professional development for both institution staff, curriculum development, hosting of NAS students for work-integrated learning, research, staff secondment, and sharing of research facilities.
Is a niche tourist destination in the world. Namibia is unmatched on the bucket list for the travel enthusiast because it offers rugged and truly unique experience that has made it one of the new frontiers for international travel. As a developing country, we must use this opportunity to maximize inclusive growth and enhance opportunities, particularly to leverage the youth demographic and to support youth development. Therefore, cooperation between various actors is of fundamental importance, and this morning punctuated by the agreement between NAST and NWR. You would agree with me, the tourism industry in Namibia is on a trajectory of recovery post-COVID-19 and therefore calls for an improved service delivery in a manner that encompasses the changing needs of the 21st century traveler. I regard myself as a 21st century traveler. And what we are saying here today applies to me also as a tourist. One of these changing needs of a 21st century traveler is the appreciation of excellence in customer service during their experience in Namibia. That applies to all of us. Ensuring that guests have a memorable experience at key destinations in Namibia depends on the interaction from the start of the journey until the guests have departed. Globally, travelers are increasingly becoming more and more sophisticated. I'm one of those people who become more and more sophisticated. And quality of service has become vital for the survival of any tourism business. Considering this, Namibia Wildlife Resorts and NAST responded to the need to enhance the skills of employees of the Namibia Wildlife Resorts in the improvement of excellence in customer service and culinary arts. NAST is befitting in providing this training because it has been at the forefront of making a significant impact on industry through its skills, human capital, and state-of-the-art infrastructure for both theory and practical training. Moreover, NAS is a front-runner in providing tailor-made courses and programs that are designed in consultation with the industry to meet the needs of both the private and the public sector. By signing this agreement today, the parties are demonstrating their commitment to enhancing the skills and knowledge to employees in the tourism, hospitality, and the culinary arts sector. Director of Ceremonies. Institutions of higher learning have the collective responsibility to provide capacity building through research, innovation, and training. And we must offer tailor-made courses that are relevant for the improvement of service delivery, particularly in the tourism sector. Tourism, you would agree with me, is an all-inclusive stakeholder business, and it is my sincere hope that NAST and NWR collectively acknowledge the value of educational and skills development, cooperation for the purpose of enhancing human capacity, institutional efficiency, and overall economic development of Namibia. Ladies and gentlemen, with these few words,
In economic news after the break, we take a look at the expected economic growth of Namibia as projected by the International Monetary Fund.
Muscle and joint pain should not be the reason you can't perform at your best. Norflex Gel. It also shouldn't be the reason you miss that important deadline. Norflex Gel. Or miss those precious moments that matter the most. Norflex Gel. Norflex gel penetrates through the skin, numbing the area and relieving pain and inflammation. Norflex gel is now available in the pharmacy aisle and in supermarkets. New Norflex Gel Fort is available for stronger anti-inflammatory action.
Beat the pain with Norflex Gel.
Getting into our economic news, the International Monetary Fund forecasts economic growth of 2.8% for Namibia in its latest World Economic Outlook released today. This is unchanged from the IMF's estimate in October 2022, but a drop compared to the 3.7% the fund projected last April. The IMF's latest projection is lower than the finance minister's Ipumbu Shimi's 3.2%, which he mentioned in his budget speech at the end of February, as well as the Bank of Namibia's 3.0% in its economic outlook update released last month. The IMF expects the domestic economy to further slow to 2.6% in 2024. Tentative signs in early 2023 that the world economy could achieve a soft landing with inflation coming down and growth steady have receded amid stubbornly high inflation and recent financial sector turmoil, the IMF said. Although inflation has declined as central banks have raised interest rates and food and energy prices have come down, underlying price pressures are proving sticky, with labor markets tight in a number of economies, the fund continued. Side effects from the fast rise in policy rates are becoming apparent as banking sector vulnerabilities have come into focus and fears of contagion have risen across the broader financial sector, including non-bank financial institutions. Let's take a look at the financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 18.37 to the US dollar and 20.07 to the euro. It trades at 22.84 to the pound and 2 Namibian dollars and 67 cents buys yuan Chinese yuan. Zinc is trading at $2,757 US dollars and 50 cents, while Brent crude oil prices are up by 0.06%, trading at $85 US dollars and 66 cents per barrel. We get into our international news shortly. A Chinese woman has become the first person to die from a type of bird flu that is rare in humans, the World Health Organization said, but the strain does not appear to spread between people. The 56-year-old woman from the southern province of Guangdong was the third person known to have been infected with the H3N3 subtype of avian influenza, the WHO said in a statement late on Tuesday. All of the cases have been in China, with the first 2 cases reported last year. The Guangdong Provincial Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported the third infection late last month, but did not provide details of the woman's death. The patient had multiple underlying conditions, said the WHO, and a history of exposure to live poultry. Sporadic infections in people with bird flu are common in China, where avian flu viruses constantly circulate in huge poultry and wild bird populations. Samples collected from a wet market visited by the woman before she became ill were positive for influenza A H3, said the WHO, suggesting this may have been the source of infection. Though rare in people, H3N8 is common in birds, in which case it causes little to no sign of disease. It has also infected other mammals. There were no other cases found among close contacts of the infected woman, the WHO said. Italian ministers have called a 6-month state of emergency in response to a rise in migrant numbers crossing the Mediterranean from North Africa. The decision frees up €5 million in funds and coincides with the arrival of 3,000 migrants in 3 days. A number of boats have landed on the Italian island of Lampedusa, and the Coast Guard has rescued some 2,000 people since Friday. 400 people on a fishing boat off the coast are yet to be helped. Migrant arrivals to Italy have risen sharply compared with the same period last year. Let's take a look at our weather predictions. For tomorrow, warm weather is expected in northern and central Namibia, with Katima, Rundu, Oshakati and Gobabis expecting a maximum temperature of 34 degrees. Partly cloudy and warm weather is expected in the coastal region, with a minimum temperature of 14 degrees and a maximum of 20 degrees predicted in Swakopmund and Henties Bay. We'll get into our sports news shortly. Only a handful of players have won multiple Golden Boot awards in South African football since the formation of the National Soccer League in 1985, and none have gone on to claim a hat-trick of wins. Peter Shalulile stands on the brink of that in the current campaign despite an injury-ravaged season that has seen him sidelined for large parts. He currently has 11 goals for champions Mamelodi Sundowns, one more than SuperSport United's Bradley Grobler, who will hope to chase him down in the remaining fixtures. Despite the hula baloo around his upcoming fight against America's Raymond Muratalla, Namibia's former WBO Global Super Featherweight champion Jeremiah Nakatila remains calm and has warned his opponent that he is no newcomer to Las Vegas boxing dugout. Top Namibian race horses from Oshinene, Aminus and Okahanja racing clubs dominated at the Mwan Polo Affair race held in Botswana last Saturday. Even saw local horses competing against their equally fierce Botswana counterparts and vied for the $350,000 Namibian in prize money. In the 2,400-meter division, which served as the grand race of the competition, Aminus Racing's French Lieve took first position, followed by Perfectly Party of Botswana, followed in third by Botswana's Brave Warrior. We'll be right back with your highlights. You're still watching Sunset News. Let's get into the news highlights from today's broadcast. Omusati's Region's Directorate of Education owes the Otapi Town Council up to $711,654, which has led to water being cut off at various schools and education offices in the region. This was confirmed by the Education Director and the town's spokesperson. Employment Equity Commissioner Oneuptwo Podowitz says while Namibia cannot entirely do away with the no-work, no-pay strike rule, amendments to the Labour Act may in future include mechanisms that will protect the interest of striking workers. Only a handful of players have won multiple Golden Boot awards in South African football since the formation of the National Soccer League in 1985, and none have gone on to claim a hat-trick of wins. Peter Shalulile stands on the brink of that in the current campaign despite an injury-ravaged season that has seen him sidelined for large parts. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the Animate platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneuptwo.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenora Shipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.